What's going on, everyone out there? Today in this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about a 1993 movie released through Alliance, Home Video Alliance, New Line Video, and it was released in 1993, Menace II Society. This has an amazing soundtrack. It stars Jada Pinkett, it has Tyron Turner, and it has Lars Tate. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong. Menace to Society is basically, I would say, a continuation or a different take on Boys in the Hood. It's very similar to Boys in the Hood, and like Boys in the Hood, it describes how LA was in the early 1990s, how the perception of certain areas were neglected by society, and basically areas that go through poverty and are having problems that were ignored by everyone else. And I love these movies because it gives an inside look into that, and it's really an eye-opener because a lot of people don't necessarily see that side of what happens in some areas. And this movie is basically the story about a guy who ends up, growing up in a house where his dad's a drug dealer, his mom's a drug addict. His dad was actually played by Samuel Jackson in this movie, which was weird. I didn't remember that. And basically there's crime everywhere, and he grows up seeing this and becomes part of that culture, becomes part of the gang-ridden culture. And him and his friends carry guns. They end up robbing a store. His friends show him the video of them robbing it, sort of to give himself kind of credibility. Saying basically, look, I robbed the store. I'm gangster. It shows house parties, how they went down, and basically them playing dominoes and cards and dancing and stuff like that. The soundtrack is a great soundtrack, like I stated. Jada Pinkett is a single mom whose baby's daddy's in jail, so she's raising her son on her own. The same guy that had the parents that were drug dealers ends up living with his grandparents because his dad ended up dying because of a drug incident, and his mom OD'd. So his grandparents are raising him, and his grandparents are very religious, so they're trying to install the Lord and prayer and stuff into his life. But meanwhile, he's going out and committing crimes and hanging with all these negative people. He ends up getting himself in a situation where his friends are dying off due to gun violence. He's carrying a gun. He ends up showing Jada Pinkett's son, who's like 5, a gun, and Jada Pinkett's all pissed off at him. But you also have that love triangle, that love relationship between him and Jada Pinkett. You also have him starting to realize that his friend and the way that he's doing stuff isn't necessarily the way that stuff needs to get done. And very similar to Boys in the Hood, it ends on a very negative note. But the message there is a very strong message, and definitely one that needs to take place. So on the front you have the two friends, and in the back of them sitting around playing dice. And on the back, Jada Pinkett and the guy, let's see, I'm not sure if it actually says his name. No, it doesn't say the name that he plays. I totally forget what it is now. And you have him with a gun pointed at one of his friends. And you also have the scene, like I just mentioned, him giving his son the gun. This movie was basically, like I said, a take on Boys in the Hood, a continuation of Boys in the Hood, I would say, because Boys in the Hood was the first one to actually touch on it. This is who produces? Jonathan Hughes, I think. I think it was Jonathan Hughes, the same person that did Boys in the Hood. No, sorry, Alan and Albert Hughes. They're the same people that did Boys in the Hood. So it's a very, very good movie. I would say it's a little bit stronger than Boys in the Hood. The message is a lot more, even though Boys in the Hood has that message, but this took it to a whole different level. Of course, this takes place a couple years after Boys in the Hood. So I want to get your guys' take. What do you guys think about this movie, Menace II Society? Leave a comment below. What do you think about the situations that took place in this movie, the message that's being betrayed? Just leave a comment below as well. If you could hit the thumbs up button below as well, that would be amazing, and I really appreciate that. If you haven't checked out my other videos, definitely go and check those out as well. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, just takes a second, just hit the subscription button below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.